It's in good condition, one previous owner. What could possibly go wrong? Some of you may know this car as the Disaster Datsun Z. Now, it's not a Disaster Datsun, it's an absolute Disaster Datsun Z. Now, in the previous video, we actually tacked this and fully welded this sill panel on here. In this video, we're actually going to concentrate on this rear arch because we need this rear arch to be in place, the replacement panel first, before we can start tackling this back section here. And trust me, this rear arch is filled with filler. Right, so if you've not seen the video for the other side that we've done, I'll leave a link in the description, but for those of you that have, you will know that this filler is that thick. Here at Yorkshire Car Restoration, we like to do things by the book, we like to do it properly, and that means making sure the area is nice and clean, making sure we've got the correct PPE, and doing it blindfolded. What could possibly go wrong? What on earth is this? Wow. Put that in there. Right, so damage report. That's a lot of damage. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh look at that. Oh. This is like, this whole situation in my hand right now is filler and fiberglass. Oh yeah. Oh, now that's what I'm talking about. Ah. A quick update. This is a disaster. So I don't think words actually exist in the English to describe the absolute horror, abomination, disaster that this car actually is, because look at it. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. This is all this. There's no metal in this whatsoever. This is not magnetic. You cannot weld this back on. It's in good condition. One previous owner, serviced regularly. No bodywork whatsoever required on the car. Rust free. I mean, this is an absolute disaster. Look at it. Look at this. Just, you're not looking. Look at it. This car has been all types of colours. It's been blue, red, rust, black, gold. I mean, it's been every single colour humanly possible in the dictionary. And look at it. It's an absolute disaster. How thick is this filler? Filler, how thick are you? What's 1 + 1? I don't care what anyone says, this right here is impressive. I literally do not have enough hands to hold the amount of filler that has come off this car. I mean, this weight, this has at least improved the horsepower of this car by 17,003, because this weighs an absolute ton. I mean, just feel the weight of this. That weighs an absolute ton. And just look at the impressive disaster that's going on right here. I mean, I've got to somehow rebuild this. While I've been doing this as well, there's been some nice goodies that have decided to show themselves. What is this? This whole situation needs cutting out. If you guys could like, comment and share the absolute heck out of this video, that would be very much appreciated for my sanity, because look at the absolute disastrousness. Just one more thing, can I point out real quick the amount of debris that is now all over the workshop? I'm going to get my tape measure out to find the piece of filler that is furthest away from this car. It's 2.5 meters away, 4.8 meters away from this car. There is also a piece all the way. So with that being said, I'm going to commence extraction of abominationness from this rear arch. What in the tarnation is going on here? This filler is literally more than an inch thick. The grinder is absolutely red hot because of the amount of filler that we're going through. Now, this is where the TOPDON TC004 actually comes in. Now, this is a thermal camera. They've got it on their website. I'll put the link down in the description below. But this is actually a really good thermal camera. Now, as you can see, you can definitely tell where I've been grinding. And if we look down here, you can actually see that that grinder is red hot. So the TC004, you can use it independently or you can use it with a Windows-based computer. From this clip, you can see it's tracking the heat from the workshop lights with the red crosshair. Also, you can detect overheating components in the engine bay. And even overheating brakes and exhausts. You can even detect people slacking in the workshop. And people reducing the disastrousness of the Disaster Datsun. The measurement range is -20 to 350 degrees. The accuracy is ±2 degrees, and the storage capacity is 16 GB. It even comes with a calibration certificate. If you do want to get your hands on one of these, make sure you visit the description in the link below. The link in the description below to get your hands on one of these TC004s and see whatever temperature you want to see. As you can see, I'm red hot. Believe it or not, I've actually found some decent metal in here. Now, I'm going to offer the panel up and scribe around it just to see exactly what I've got to play with the new panel. And then I can start cutting somewhere along this situation here to actually then try and stitch the new panel to the old metal. Now, I think I've figured out why the door didn't fit in one of the previous episodes, and it's because of the sheer amount of filler in this area here. Now, what I want to do is I want to try and keep underneath this body line. I think you can actually see it just here. This body line goes all the way to the front, and I want to keep below that because that's the original body line. Now, the body line on this replacement panel isn't great. It's a little bit wavy and all over the place. So I'm going to try and maintain that, even though everything's all over the place. I'm going to try and maintain this body line here. So what I want to do is I want to stay within this black line so I can make sure that the panel covers it. And I'm going to cut somewhere along here, just underneath this body line, and just making sure I cut all the rust out. can't just be welding this in willy-nilly. I mean, I've got to trim this panel anyway, but I can't just weld it in any old how. Now, I need to make sure that this is actually in the right place. So I need some reference points somewhere on the car to measure from. So I can measure from the other side and then replicate it on this side. So I can measure to this bottom corner here, I can measure to that bottom corner there and just make sure it's good. But the only trouble is trying to find something on the car that I can measure from, which is going to be a struggle. After a lot of off-camera measuring, I think I've finally got, and I'm finally happy with where this is sat. Now, as I said previously, there's only so much I can do with this to try and get it in the right spot. So what I've done is I've measured from this body line here, I've measured from this corner down to here, I've measured from this body line down to here, over to here, this section up here, down to also here. Measured from here to here. I've measured all the way from that drip rail over there, all the way down to here. And it seems like I've got the happy medium. Now, it's not 100% perfect. There's dents everywhere, there's just stuff everywhere. Now, there's dents all over this panel. Now, they're not just in this area, the dents are all the way back here. Right, so what I've just done there is I've cut the excess off this panel here. I then slid it underneath, so it was actually a lapped panel. But to get rid of that lapped panel, what you need to do is you need to tack it in place like I did, and then you need to cut through both panels, or just at least follow one of the panels. So then that makes it nice and flush. So all this area here, all the way up until here, is actually nice and flush. Now, butt welding on very thin metal on a wheel arch like this is very difficult. You won't see many people do it. And the reason for that is because welding obviously shrinks and stretches the metal, it heats it up. we can see on the thermal camera as well a little bit later. But what it does is it shrinks, it stretches, and it leaves something like this. Now, this part of the panel is actually bowed out, and that's because I've worked from the bottom up and then from the center across. So all that excess metal has actually expanded into this point. Now, what I can do is I can cut through, just a little cut there, just a little bit of a relief cut, and then I can start working my way towards that middle point, and then I can do more relief cuts if I need to, just to get that panel back in there, because I want to follow this nice curvature. Now, I can see when I look from that side, I can see that it is bowing out.